This is Coogan Cassius for iFILM London. We're at the Landmark Hotel here in London for the press conference for Frank Warren's show on July the 20th behind enemy lines. How are you, Frank?
I'm good, you?
I'm all good. I'm all good today. Weather could be a bit better, but...
Well, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Frank, the first thing I want to talk about, just to draw a line under this for iFILM London, the Deontay Wilder situation. When I was in America, I spoke to Richard Schaefer, and Richard Schaefer said that the story from Richard Schaefer was that he was saying that the deal hadn't been done and that he told you not to announce a deal. What do you say to that?
That's not true. You want to look at the emails?
No, listen, I'm taking what you say.
Yeah, but it's first I've heard of it. You never come back to me to ever ask me that question. But had you asked me, I said, come to my office and I'll show you the emails. And the emails say everything is done. And we got it then, I think it was probably about 2 or 3 hours before we was going to have a press conference. We got an email come through from Eric Gomez saying, can the press conference be delayed? ? That's a question, not a request. That's a question. And the answer went back saying, no, we were already on. But unfortunately at that stage we knew there'd been a problem. We weren't aware of the extent of the problem, that he was allegedly beat up his girlfriend and all the stuff that went with it, and wasn't allowed to travel.
Right. So moving on from that, we now have a new opponent for Derek Chisora in Malik Scott. Yep. A more difficult test than Deontay Wilder would have been, or how do you look at that?
Different style of fighter, but much more different. Former junior Olympic champion, got great pedigree. He's undefeated. He will pose Derek a lot of problems. He's had more fights than Derek, and I think he will give Derek a lot of things to think about. So,
I mean, in an interview with James now, Derek Chisora was saying that he's looking at a world title fight for later on this year. Is that a possibility for him?
Well, he's got to win this one. If he wins it, then of course it is. I mean, that's what I'll do for a living. I'll deliver world title fights.
Okay.
With fighters that I actually bring through the system.
Okay.
And develop. And invest in.
As opposed to some other people don't?
Yeah, that's right, but that's life.
That's life. Major coup for Frank Warren Promotions and Box Nation in the signing of Carl Frampton, one of the best world prospects in world boxing. So you must be pleased to have him in your stables now.
Yeah, I'm really pleased he's in there. I'm pleased that he's on Box Nation. I think we had a good 2 weeks. I mean, Queensbury, they won the purse bidding for the Billy Joe Saunders and Ryder fight. So it's been a good 2 weeks.
Can you make any comment on the Kevin Mitchell situation? I know that he was under contract to Queensbury, actually, so can you make any comment on that?
No, you've got to speak to Queensbury. My association with Kevin Mitchell as a manager finished quite a few months ago, and last time I see Kevin Mitchell, I lent him £1,000 and I haven't seen him since.
Are you disappointed that he's not boxing under either Queensbury or,
I've got to be honest, you've got to speak to them. Me, I couldn't give a monkeys. I mean, let's have it right. I've got him a world title fight at West Ham. He couldn't even be bothered to train properly for that and got chinned and embarrassed us all on that at West Ham. We gave him another chance. I gave him another world title fight against Ricky Burns, and he got beat in that fight. So, how many chances you give? Let somebody else do that. I haven't got a problem with that. But as far as I understand, he's under contract to Queensbury, so let them sort it out.
Billy Joe
I'm not in the Kevin Mitchell business. I'm in the Carl Frampton business.
Okay. Billy Joe Saunders fights Gary O'Sullivan. Can you tell me what title this is for, Frank?
It's for the WBO Intercontinental title fight.
So obviously this is a huge fight for both fighters. So
it is. 2 undefeated fighters, 15-0, and he's a quality fighter, the kid from Dublin. And fighting Irishman, and I think you're going to get some fireworks on the night between those two. And Billy's on the rise, and he can't afford to slip up either.
Is there any possibility of Billy Joe Saunders having to give up his British title?
Nope.
No. Okay, but obviously we need to speak to Queensbury about the potential fight between Ryder and Saunders and when that would happen.
Sure, they'll make their announcement next week when they're due to do it, as per the British Boxing Board of Control regulation and rules.
Okay. Have you got any other interesting news to tell us, Frank?
No, we're just, as always, promoting. We've got some good shows coming up. Frankie Gavin and Denton Vassell on at Liverpool. That's a great fight for the fans. Another even money fight. We've got some good things. I'm quite pleased with what's going on at the moment.
Can you tell us anything about the situation with Paul Smith and Tony Dodson? Is that fight no longer under your jurisdiction?
Tony Dodson wouldn't wait 13 days for we had to postpone the show. Obviously, you know, it's hard for boxers, but I had to postpone the show because we didn't have the quality opposition we needed for Derek Chisora, and that's not right on the fans. So he wouldn't wait 13 days. He chose not to wait, which was his choice. So as far as I'm concerned, they can go their own way. He can go his own way, and Paul fired him anyway. So he's fighting him. I think it's a couple of weeks later, or whatever it is. But that was his decision. It wasn't my decision not to promote the fight. That was Tony Dodson's entirely.
In the press conference, my colleague James Helder seemed to, I don't know, I would just say it is, he seemed to have rattled you with a question.
No, he didn't rattle me at all. He asked a question which I didn't think was relevant. I mean, you know, if Barry McGregor wants to joint promote with somebody, then good luck. You know, Matchroom are doing that, aren't they? Or Eddie Hearn's doing that with David Haye.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal? Is there a big deal about it?
No, there isn't a big deal about it. He just asked you a question.
The innuendo is like there's a conflict of interest for Barry, and that's what the crap that's being put out.
He's not that way inclined to.
Mate, of course, no, but you know who is, and you know, you can't be crybabies all the time. You know, you win some, you lose some. That happens to all of us, but you can't be a crybaby.
Just finally, Frank, the other day I did a question and answer session from the Twitter fans with Eddie Hearn, where he answered all the fans' questions.
He on Twitter?
Who?
Eddie Hearn on Twitter.
He's on Twitter. I don't know
Is
if
that
you
when I read that thing about his dad being in the sauna on Twitter with what's his name, the guy in America? When he's sitting in the
Lee
sauna.
Purdy.
Yeah, when he's sitting in the sauna. I read that on Twitter. I'm sure I read that. Anyway, carry on. Go on.
Anyway, so we've done
dangerous thing, that Twitter.
It is a dangerous thing, but we've done a question and answer session with the fans, and it had good response.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Would you be interested in us doing one with you?
Absolutely. You let me know when.
Next week sometime?
Yeah, we'd do a Twitter. A Twittering afternoon, yeah.
Basically how it would work, Frank, is they would email me questions that they would like to ask you, then we'd sit down, we'd film it, and
absolutely,
and let the fans ask you questions that they want to know.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Well, that's good.
Now I've got to go because I'm going to have my sauna. I've got to lose some weight.
Can you tell us anything about Bobby Warren? Just one secret about Bobby Warren.
He's my younger brother.
Is that all? Thank Coogan Cassius with Frank Warren for iFILM London. Thank you very much.